we've got to take big chances in order for the potential for a big positive outcome.
Come get some.
Winner, winner, Sheen dinner.
Hadouken!
Oh boy, we're gonna have a swell time tonight.
Hello, welcome back to A Boring Revolution, your number one news source for everything in regards to The Boring Company. Hope you're all well. So, we have seen over the last 2 months really excellent progress with the Las Vegas Loop. And that is being determined by the recent expansion down towards the airport. Currently, they are at the Virgin Hotel, and there are plans for that to be extended further down to the airport. Those plans have not been confirmed as of yet, although we do have some preliminary plans from around 2 years ago that give us an indication of when we will see, or where we will see those particular stations. So, let's get into the presentation. So, as you know, the vast majority of the Boring Company Loop system in Las Vegas is up in and around the conference center there, or the convention center. So you have the Westgate Hotel and Casino, you have Resorts World, you have Encore, and they're all feeding in to the original system, which is then funneling people between the various halls, the old bit and the new bit that's being built. And there's also a new little extension that's going on, which looks very nice indeed, and maybe we'll talk about that in a future video. But the expansion down to the airport is a very, very important evolution of the system itself, because we're going from more of a local system to more of a regional system that covers quite a bit of the Las Vegas area. Not entire coverage, but quite a big increase from what is previously been seen. It's more than a 200% increase in the overall length of the system, and it is a critical link between the Las Vegas Convention Center, where most people are coming to when they go into Vegas for a conference, the various hotels in and around that conference center, and a couple along the way, and the airport itself, because as you know, most people fly into Las Vegas from other cities. This could potentially change when the Bright Line train is connected into California, LA, but we are 5 or 6 years away from that, and again, we don't know entirely how that's going to stitch in. But the image on the left-hand side, if I just highlight it for you, here is quite an old one. This is from the end of 2022, I believe. And there is a connection into Terminal 1 and Terminal 3 at the Harry Reid International Airport. So by doing this extension down to the airport, it increases the overall system coverage and thus usability. I do have some more plans coming up, and I will show you them because it's easier to understand where this system is going. I think the capacity will increase way beyond 200%. I think I'm being quite pessimistic there. But it's going to be somewhere in the ballpark of 200 to 300% increase, just simply because you can put more vehicles onto the system and still maintain that 20-25 meter gap between vehicles. Higher operational speeds. There's very, very few stations on this particular route, so given that vehicles don't need to stop as often, if you look at other parts of the route map, there are typically stations every 600 to 800 meters, whereas with this one, we are almost 2 kilometers apart between stations. So the higher operational speeds are almost a guarantee if regulators go along with it. I'm pretty confident that, given that we've had 0 accidents, 0 incidents, 0 fires in the system since it has been operational, at the end of 2021, that the regulators will now allow higher speeds. They're currently operating just above 40, 45 miles an hour. Significant increase in fare revenue. As you know, a lot of people are using the system up at the conference centre, and basically they're using it for free. But with the connection of various hotels, we're seeing fares go up, and we will see the airports also provide fares increases, which all add up. Potential early adoption of robo-taxis. As you know, there is a robo-taxi event on the 10th of October, which is not that far away, around 2 months away, 2 to 3 months away. So we could potentially see a robo-taxi revealed. We could see prototypes, maybe the finished article, introduced into the Boeing company system early on, just to kind of test the vehicle out and establish any kind of issues. Because ultimately, this robo-taxi, this robo-van, robo-cab, whatever you wish to call it, will be a staple of the Las Vegas loop system, and you will probably see in excess of 1,600 of them in Las Vegas, maybe 2,000 of them in the long term, because this is going to be a very high capacity system with multiple tunnels, multiple routes, multiple ways to get around the city. Let's actually have a look at some plans so that you, the audience, can visualize what is going on. So this is the original system prior to it being built. As you can see, we have a connection here up to the Encore. We've got Resorts World here. The Westgate is up here, and Riviera Station is here. We are then building a tunnel connecting Central Station, which is listed as Station 2 here, down Paradise Road. Paradise Road is incredibly straight, which is an absolute bonus for us, because it is very easy to convince regulators on a very long straight road with almost no stations on it that operating at 55, 60, 65 miles an hour is going to be quite simple and safe. So here's a construction drawing. As you can see, this is Paradise Road, just here, and the road there is East Naples Drive. Okay, so this is the current route that they are working on. So they've completed one tunnel, the Boeing company, and they are moving on to their second tunnel. So this highlighted in orange. This bit here, plans are not being finalised, but based on what we've seen previously, there's going to be a connection to Terminal 1 here and Terminal 3 here, to about 700 metres apart. So you're presuming that it's going to be something along that line there. This route here, as you can see, beautifully straight, relatively few stations along it. This route here, which is probably going to be something that they start on fairly soon, is completely the opposite. So it's got curves, it's got stations relatively frequently, in fact very frequently, and it will probably be constructed after this next tunnel. This is the map that I keep pulling up all the time. I think this is the best illustration of what is being built. It's hard to visualize because a lot of it's underground. But basically we have kind of our micro system here, which is operating in and around the convention center, and that's why I refer to it as more of a local system rather than a regional system. And you've got various connections in that area, and the trips are relatively short, and no sooner has the vehicle got up to 45 miles an hour is it then beginning to decelerate as it goes around corners or gets close to stations. So it's hard to really prove how good this system is in such a small confined space. This is the current route map down here. Not very straight that. But as you can see, between here and here, there are no stations. Why is that? Well, they want a direct link to the airport, and they don't want constant stoppages. They want you to be able to get up to the conference centre in less than 6.5 minutes, maybe a lot less than that, maybe 4 minutes. But it depends on the regulators. That's the key. It's hard to tell you numbers when the regulators are not being clear. So the only drop-offs really is the Virgin Hotel. You have this Harmony Square here, but that's on a different line, so I don't think they're going to connect that up with this particular extension. Then you've got this one here, East Tropicana, and then if you just look at that there, so we've got our connection here going to Terminal 1, Terminal 3. So that's the overall system. It is quite a considerable number of stations, and ultimately the stations are where the cost is. But how is that site progressing at the Virgin Hotel? So currently that is where the TBM has terminated, or was terminated. Then it's running another tunnel link as we speak down again. So it's going to be a dual bore tunnel, so you can have both northbound and southbound traffic in the electric vehicles. This is the shaft. Why is there a shaft? Well, I presume because they want to keep things underground, so they can link up the tunnel to the airport without having to bring cars up to the surface. It just makes things a bit smoother. Does increase cost, but this is how we're playing it. We've got our soldier piles here. At least that's what I presume they are. I think there's another one over here. Another great addition is this gantry crane, which I talked about, I believe, in like video 40 of this channel, so many years ago, and said, hey, it would be a good idea to install a gantry crane. It can hold more weight, it'll be much more functional, and it'll be safer to use. And finally they have built their own gantry crane. Looks a little bit cobbled together, I'm not going to lie, but if it works, it works. Hopefully version 2 and version 3 of this gantry crane will be a bit more sizable and possibly automated as well. But this is the shaft that they've completed at Las Vegas. The machine has been removed and it's gone back up to Central Station at the Las Vegas Conference Center. Here are our precast concrete segments, which haven't really changed over the last 3 years. Obviously, I said I wanted hexagonal segments, but you know, they've gone for this, which means they're going to obviously opt for a gripper TBM at some point in the future. Here's another angle just from further away. Not too much going on here. You can see the gantry crane, which is a reasonably big unit, and yeah, that'll come in handy on future jobs. I imagine that'll be something else that they'll standardize, and when they require a shaft, they will use a gantry crane like this. They'll just dismantle it and reassemble it. I think that this unit here looks a little bit flimsy, but it probably does the job just fine. Here is the other side of the tunnel, which is near the central station. As you can see, we have our conveyor belt system. This is being connected up for the TBM for the second run, and progress on that looks reasonably good. We'll tell you when it breaks through on the other side. So, as you know, everything is about cost when it comes to mass transit. If we want to differentiate ourselves from the competition, not only do we need to be a much more comfortable experience for passengers, we need to be lower cost to build and lower cost to use and fast to build and safer. But just looking at costs, let's calculate how much this particular project is going to cost. So, dual bore tunnel, what does that mean? It means we've got two tunnels side by side. I have talked about in a previous episode that, hey, maybe it'd be a good idea if we had one tunnel on top of the other tunnel, and this would enable connections to either side of the road. But they appear to be doing it this way, and that's absolutely fine, no worries. So each tunnel is 3.14 miles long. Altogether, that is 6.28 miles. I've calculated it around 4.75 million per TBM mile, which might seem a little bit more than what I've previously estimated. However, you've got to take into account inflation, and also the fact that given that this is a longer tunnel, you're going to need emergency egress points, and you're going to need ventilation shafts, and they're a cost that I am not entirely aware of. So I've just had to put a best guesstimate in there, and I'm working out about 4.75 million per mile. It depends how they do it. They could have the ventilation shafts linked to each tunnel, or they could do separate ventilation shafts for each tunnel, which again might rack the costs up. But it's given we don't have any plans, we never do with the Boring Company, that's the best that I can kind of come up with. The actual cost of the Virgin Hotel station, which I'm imagining will look something like this, although it'd be quite a bit bigger, will be about 3.45 million. East Tropicana station, I actually don't know what's on that site. It's hard to tell. I'm presuming maybe a new hotel or a new tourist attraction, so we're looking at about the same. Airport stations, we have two of them, Terminal 1 and Terminal 3, and we're looking at 8.64 million. They'll be quite beefy units. I suspect they will be like this. I don't think they will be below ground, although theoretically the airport might want that because they have relatively few car parking spaces to customers, so who knows, but let's assume that they'll go with the common sense option. So 4.75 million, we've got to accommodate ventilation shafts and emergency egress points as well. Total cost $44.87 million, which in the grand scheme of mass transit is absolute peanuts. Here's Google Maps, just kind of showing you that route. As you can see, we only know really up to this point, and then the rest of this is kind of a bit of a guess really about what they do in this particular area. The other route, I presume, would be stitched into this, and it would go up this road, and it obviously goes past the university and then up here. Not the best, but there you go. Here is a satellite overview of the airport. As you can see, there is plenty of space to incorporate a loop system, potentially in this corner here. I think this area here is something to do with flood control, so I don't know if that could be reutilized, but seems unlikely, so I think it'll be somewhere in this area here, and then there'll be somewhere in this area here, and then they would be stitched together as such. But yeah, we'll have to see. No plans, these are only predictions. Obviously, if I come across new plans or some information comes to light, I'll follow this up with a new video. And here we have the potential areas that will be utilised. I'm not sure if there is a Terminal 2, but because I've not seen any plans linking Terminal 2, I've not bothered to look. Please put in the comments below if there is a Terminal 2, or if you think this is a bad place to put our station, or if you think there's a better place, maybe in and around here or further closer to the airport, who knows. Okay, so whenever I do a video like this, naturally we end up with comments saying, I don't really understand where anything is, that map's too small, and I can't see anything, and I don't really understand. And that's fair enough, because if you don't know Las Vegas, then you don't know what's going on here. But this is kind of my interpretation of what this will look like. So this, if you were going up this direction, that would be going from the south to the north. We have various stations, as you can see. This is the bit that's already been built, and then this is the extension down here. The areas in a brown colour are currently under construction or proposed or due to open, whereas the yellow tunnels are already constructed and operational. As you can see, we have various hotels linked: Resorts World, Westgate, Encore, and at some point in the next 3 months we'll have, about 4 months, we'll have Virgin Hotel linked as well. I have no idea what's going on with this site here. It doesn't seem obvious to me. It seems a bit of a strange place to put a station, but there might be something going on there that I'm not aware of that's going to happen in the future. But this is basically the system, how it's set up. And yeah, we might see extensions as well going up to the stratosphere at some point, but I presume because the airport is going to be such a driver of business that they're going to focus on this particular route for the time being, and they're going to run the new robocabs through this area. Total length overall of everything that you can see above is 10.08 miles. So this is quite a big system now. All the people long ago saying this was just a tiny little tunnel where vehicles were doing 20 miles an hour and it was extremely dangerous and a fire was inevitable, and now really cowering because they're starting to realise that this is a major mass transit system and it's expanding exponentially at a rate that we could only dream of. And this system could very well triple in size in the next 2 to 3 years from what you see today. Okay, everyone, hope you enjoyed that. I hope you're just as bullish about this potential airport expansion as me. If you are in Las Vegas and you have access to a phone that takes pictures, like everyone else in the world, then please stop by the Virgin Hotel and take some pictures and send them to me with my email address linked below. If you are based in Las Vegas and you want to help the channel, please do help me out. Drop me an email and maybe we can give you a shout out on the channel. Like and subscribe to the video, comment on the video, tell me what you think is going on. Please consider supporting me on these various platforms. As always, my Patreons, incredibly brilliant people who have provided all the equipment that I'm using today and more, and we're always looking to expand the studio, and this is fantastic, guys. Thank you ever so much. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, everyone, and please do tune in next time. And as always, thank you to everyone that has supported the channel over the years. And yeah, I do miss Doug quite a bit, and it's a real shame that he's gone, but he can be very proud of who he is. Thank you, everyone, and don't be boring. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Goodbye.
You've got to take big chances in order for the potential for a big positive outcome.